After I got to New York for trial, I knew it was only a few months until my trial started, which means we did not have that much time to prepare, especially with the new attorney joining and taking over the case, which means he had a lot of catching up to do. As far as going over the indictment, the discovery and everything else, and the government also knew this. And yet they made me sit in the SHU for 2 weeks without being able to properly communicate with my attorneys, which means I had to be handcuffed and taken to the shower where they had to roll a phone to the shower slot for me to bend down to the slot and speak to my attorneys because the corridor was just that short. But by me talking in the shower with my mouth out the slot to the door, it allowed everyone in the SHU, meaning all the inmates and whatever the officers that was down in the SHU, to hear my conversations, because the shower has an echo effect. And when you talk, everyone can hear you, which is why I didn't get to say all the things I needed to say to my attorneys for 2 weeks. I was in the SHU. Besides, I only had 1 hour to talk anyway, and 1 hour to discuss my case is not nearly enough time for my attorneys was not ready for trial. Everything was rushed and out of order, and I knew it because of how the government took forever giving me and my attorneys information that they needed, especially when it came to my phones, iPads, and witnesses that the government was calling. They even held my legal work I have been working on for the last 2 years and some months while being locked up at the MCC at Chicago. They did not give me my legal work until 2 weeks after I got convicted and found guilty. Now do the math. This court case was rigged, and it's always been way before I was arrested. They did not give me my legal work until 2 weeks after I got convicted and found guilty. They use the SHU for everything. You get into a fight, you go to the SHU. You steal something, you go to the SHU. You disobey or fight the officers, you go to the SHU. Even if you are high profile and famous like myself and you haven't done anything wrong, you still go to the SHU. Damn. Just think, I was thrown in the worst part of the jail simply because I was famous. The judge did not allow me to have my discovery while being locked up. But while being locked up, I noticed that all the other inmates had the discovery and will go to the computer with the disc that had all their discovery on it to go over their case. But I could not have any of the discs from my phones, my iPads to go over my case. And there was a whole lot of things on my iPads and phones that I wanted to show my attorneys that I know that could have helped me in my case. But the judge said I could only have paperwork of my discovery. But the judge and the prosecutors are very aware of the fact that I don't read. So what I was going to do with all the paper that all the discovery on it. So again, I was stuck because we never got the time to go over my discovery properly. And on top of that, because of COVID-19, they stopped my attorneys and I from being able to have time to go over a lot of things concerning my case. So when the MCC and the courts finally opened up and let the attorneys come see me, the time they gave me to see my attorneys was very short. It was always something in the way of getting my proper time and with my lawyers. I've been denied my due process again. All of my rights as an American citizen has been violated, and my attorneys were literally stopped from being able to uncover the multiple loopholes and all of the lies concerning my case. Everything the judge denied was just evidence I needed to win my case. I was arrested in front of the Trump Tower while walking my dog. They never showed me a warrant for my arrest. They never told me what I was being arrested for. They didn't even show me an ID, an I-card. An I-card is a paper that gets sent to every precinct near the neighborhood that has your name, date of birth, and also the charges that are being put up against you. I've been asking to see the warrant for my arrest and also the warrant to search my apartment and my storage, and still to this day, no one has shown it to me. I've also been asking for the last 2.5 years while incarcerated for my property, which is my iPhone and my iPads, because there are things on them that we could have shown that would have also helped my case. And after 18 months of the government holding my phone and property, the attorney filed the motion to get it. And the judge granted it because she said it happened 18 months and the prosecutors had my property long enough. And so the judge gave the prosecutors 2 weeks to turn over my phones, iPads, and all my property. And the prosecutors still to this day, they have not respected or complied with the judge's decision. And that's because they've seen everything on my iPads and iPhones and know that there's nothing illegal there. There's nothing illegal or underage on them, and that there are things that will help me. But if the judge told the prosecutors to turn over my property within the next 2 weeks, then why didn't they do it? And why was nothing done about it? Something is really funny with this whole damn situation. And it's very, very obvious. I want to come home, and I want to come home right now. This is not right. Why are they doing this to me? It is so hard for me to understand this kind of evil. I've been having so many nightmares, but I'm afraid to communicate with the psych doctors because there are so many of them, because they switch up a lot. And I don't want to end up in the SHU. When I finally got out the SHU, 2 weeks later, we went to court. But it wasn't about my case or me going on trial. It was about the judge and the government trying to figure out if I was having an affair with my attorney, N.Y.l, and we spent another 2 weeks going to court about that. The judge assigned another attorney to me who I had to talk to as far as me and my attorney, N.Y.l, and whether or not we were having an affair. I even had to answer questions that the judge would ask about whether or not I was involved with my attorney, N.Y.l. A total waste of another 2 weeks, because the government knew damn well that wasn't true. But they did everything they could think of to continue stalling my case, keeping my lawyers and me occupied with other situations that had absolutely nothing to do with my case. My new attorney was already playing catch up, so by the time my trial actually started, the government, who had all of their ducks in a row and all their witnesses all coerced up and their lies in place, was ready for trial. But my attorneys, because of the government and all their booby traps, after I got to New York to trial, I knew it was only a few months until my trial started, which means we did not have that much time to prepare, especially with the new attorney joining and taking over the case. Think about this. The government's been telling the media and the public for the last 2.5 years I've been locked up that I traffic underage girls, and for that 2.5 years, the government has not shown the public one underage girl who was trafficked or anyone else in that case. And every time they would show the case all over the news, they would never show an underage girl or even parents of an underage girls, not one. They could have blurred the underage girl's face or the parents' face while they interviewed them, but they didn't even do that. And that's because there was never any underage girls trafficked. The government also said I raped someone, but never once sitting in that courtroom did they ever produce or show a rape victim, not one. They also said I kidnapped someone, but again, they failed to show the kidnapped victim because these so-called people did not exist. The government created an illusion of my lifestyle right in front of the jury's very eyes after doing the same thing in front of the world's very eyes. I'm tired, and I'm going to lay it down. I love you guys, so much, it's a lot to take in, but please keep telling my story because it is my breath. Bye for now. Robert Sylvester Kelly. We here now. Damn, I wish I was pushing the act. Damn, I wish I was pushing the act. Damn, I wish I was pushing the act. I had no haps if I was pushing the act. Damn.